We have a film out in theaters, directed by a YouTuber, based on a original concept that is a horror film that is making a ton of money. And we got another one as well this weekend. The first one I was talking about is Obsession. The one I'm talking about now is Backrooms. We're killing Star Wars. Star Wars is out in theaters and it ain't making no money because these two original horror films are making money. And before you come at me, the Backrooms is an original horror. Yes, it is. Because Kane Parsons did the series on YouTube. And now he did the series for the movie. Or he did the movie. He based the movie off his series. I'm calling it original horror. I was not super excited for the Backrooms, but I was really curious about it. I went in thinking that the concept of the Backrooms in its inherent nature could be potentially really boring, just walking around rooms. There's a monster there, and sometimes there's some spooky scares, but the majority of the movie is just walking around. But then I heard the reviews, and a lot of the reviews I heard were really good. So I was very curious walking into the theater. Before I give you my review, if you would subscribe, the like button, hit the bell, comment down below. Did you see Backrooms? What'd you think about it? And with that said, let's dive right in. What did I think about it? What did I think about this movie? I don't know. I still don't know what I think about it. It's a movie that, I want to be more into the world. I want to watch it again. I want to dive more into this universe, see more things. And I left the theater did I like it though? I don't necessarily know if I liked it. It's a very frustrating feeling. Because it's a feeling that I watched the film and as soon as the film ended, I was thinking there were tons of things that I loved, and then there were tons of things that I wasn't the biggest fan of, but those things I wasn't the biggest fan of, I didn't dislike. Does that make sense? It's a very confusing feeling what I feel about the Backrooms. So, things I love, that I for sure love, the atmosphere. If you don't like anything about this movie, you can say the atmosphere and the set design and the score all get you instantly. The set design, if it doesn't get nominated for an Oscar, that'll be insane. How do they make these Backrooms? If you don't know, the Backrooms are just this insane labyrinth of just random stuff. Just random stuff. There's a room filled with dirty laundry of furniture, there's a pool, there's different things, and it's so uncanny. It's like the uncanny valley, where it's something so familiar, but it's just so random and odd, and just, it's such an interesting concept, and the fact that they nailed that concept down in the theater perfectly is insane, and that's why it 100% deserves an Oscar for set design. But just the atmosphere of this movie is great. It has this 80s or 90s aesthetic to it, where it feels old-fashioned, and it adds to the horror of it. The score is haunting. All of that, for this film, is done perfectly. I also think the cast is quite good. You got Chiwetel Ejiofor, I believe I am saying his name right, and Renee Rensive, I hope I'm saying her name right. I know I just butchered both of their names, but you know who they are, and you've seen them in the trailers that I poked here. She was just nominated for an Oscar for Sentimental Value. Very good in that movie. I don't think that the cast is great here. There's not a lot of character work done, but I think for the characters that they are, it is a very good cast. And I kind of want to see some of these characters again in the future. The Backrooms is an area filled with creatures. And there are some very creepy chase sequences with some very creepy creatures in here. I don't want to say too much, but again, it's like that uncanny valley feeling. It's so familiar. There's just a person standing in the background, but with a little bit of a distorted face. Looks human, but it's clearly not. And like you see in the trailers, the more you dive into the Backrooms, the more it remembers, I guess is what you could say. It remembers things differently. How they describe it in the movie is, it's like a if you describe a dog to somebody who's never seen a dog before and ask them to draw it, and that the way the film describes it is described perfectly. So you get all this creepy imagery in here, whether it's a person or whether it's a creature. Very creepy imagery. And like a lot of people are complaining that there's not enough jump scares. I'm not someone who like goes to horror films for jump scares, but there is one really good jump scare in the third act that like the lady sitting on my left, like me and her both at the same time, like jumped a foot in the air. Very effective jump scares. There's this sequence in the movie where it's found footage and you're going through the back rooms and then something crazy happens, and it is probably my favorite sequence put to a film all year. It is such a good sequence that is just so scary, adds to the tension of it all, and feels like you're watching one of those Backrooms videos on YouTube. Now, I've watched a few of them, but I've never gotten fully into the lore, but I'm actually kind of curious to watch them now, because I feel like those would be more effective than the film itself, because that scene, and pretty much every scene with found footage, there's 2 found footage scenes, and they are both very, very good. They're easily the best parts of this movie. And not saying like the rest of it isn't good. The first half has some phenomenal character moments, I will say. But we head to the second act, or not even the second act, the second half of the movie, I will say. And I'm not going to say it falls apart for me, because there's still a lot of moments that I like. And like I'm telling you guys, my experience with the movie is I'm not sure if there's anything I really hate about this film, but what it does is something so unique where it doesn't give you a whole lot of information, but it reveals just enough. It's very hard to explain my feelings coming out of here, and I'm kind of going to have to dive into spoilers. So I'll put up the spoiler thing right here, bing, of when I'm going to stop talking about spoilers, but the only way I can talk about my feelings for this movie is with spoilers. So we are going to dive in. 3, 2, 1. Skip to that time if you haven't seen the movie, and let's dive in with the spoiler part. So as soon as we get that found footage scene where they're running through the back rooms and all the crazy stuff happens, we follow the therapist, Mary, played by Rensive, and like, it's not bad. It never gets bad. But she finds out that Mark, who is played by Ejiofor, is connected to the Backrooms. He feels like the Backrooms, like this is his home now. And it's such a weird change. It's such a weird character change, in my opinion, because literally 3 seconds later, he was running, trying to protect his coworkers, trying to get out of the Backrooms. And now he is with the creatures, and he's connected to them. I don't know how long, the passage of time throughout the film, I don't know how long it was between him going in and then him, like, becoming the Backrooms. But, like, it was just, he's just all of a sudden the bad guy now. It's a twist that doesn't make sense. And then you get Ginormous Mark, Pirate Mark, the pirate from the furniture store. Ginormous Mark, which, like, I will say, very good CGI physical, or practical effects, very good. Giant Mark looks really good, and it's a very thrilling chase sequence, edge of my seat stuff, but, I like watching the movie, I think, what's happening? It doesn't quite make super sense, and a lot of people are saying that if you don't like the movie, it's because you didn't understand it. No, I think it's because there's all these interesting visuals and ideas, but none of them are fully explained. And there's a lot of people, like, having discussions about this film, which I love. I love it when people can have big discussions about this movie. But it's just like a bunch of stuff happening, if that makes sense. And it's a very thrilling chase sequence, but then she gets caught by the company, and you still don't fully know what's going on. It's so bizarre. And the thing, like, the way I think I can describe it, and there's somebody on TikTok, I think, that made this review, and he got clowned for it, was saying that the movie is just a sequence of scenes put together. And he's getting clowned for it on social media. He's got a point. It's a sequence of scenes that you know what's happening, but you don't quite know what's happening. It's such this bizarre feeling, something that I've never had for a film. Like, the last time I had this feeling was Tenet in 2020. the first year of me being a film critic. And this is the only film in my 6 years, whether on my old channel or on this channel. It's the only film that I fully don't know what I think about this movie. And, like, I loved a lot of it. And even, like, the back half was interesting. I liked watching it. I don't know. It's very hard to describe. Spoilers in now. They're very, very difficult to describe. Because, like, the atmosphere, the backroom set design, all that's really good. But the second half of the movie doesn't feel like it capitalizes on any of the ideas, while also being interesting enough to want to, like, dive more into the world, and you never wanted the movie to end. And then, my one opinion that I have of this movie, number one, is that it feels like an experiment. It does not feel like a movie. It feels like an experiment. And then number two is that it feels like the idea for the movie. At the end of watching it, I felt like I just watched an hour and a half long version of the YouTube miniseries. That's what I felt. And, like, again, I want to dive more into this world. I want to see more. But I don't know if the ideas represented in this movie were the right ideas to dive into. But they were super interesting, and I want to know more about those ideas. But they weren't executed in a way that was ultimately satisfying. Very hard movie to talk about, in my opinion. Because, like I said several times, there's so much I loved. I really enjoyed the back half of the movie. But I don't know exactly how I feel, because there's so much stuff I loved. But then there's just that feeling, that it feels like you're watching an experiment other than a movie. And it's a feeling that I've never had in my entire 20 years of life after leaving a film. I want to go back and watch this movie. I want to go drive up to the theater and watch it again. I'm broke right now, so I can't do that. But it is a very, 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 very fascinating film. And one that, like, it's such a unique experience that I've never had quite before. So I can't say I fully loved it. I can't say I disliked it at all. I think it was good. And I kind of need another watch to fully affirm my opinion. I know this review was kind of weird, but that's just kind of what my feelings were on the movie after I watched it. Like, I had a little bit more time to process it. Like, some certain character decisions I thought definitely dragged the movie down and were genuinely negative. But it's that type of movie that I need to sit down and I need to give it another watch to fully know, like, what do I think of it. So before I give you my final score of the Backrooms, if you would, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, comment down below. What are your opinions on the Backrooms? If you're going to leave spoilers, big spoiler warning in the comment section. And with that said, the Backrooms has a great atmosphere, fantastic set design, good cast, creepy moments. Second half of the movie gives some really interesting ideas, but they're not executed in the right way. But I want to see them executed more. I want to see more of that. I don't know. Very frustrating movie to watch. And, you know, at least it's making money. I want to see a sequel. With that said, I'm going to give the Backrooms a B. And if you like the YouTube web series, I'd say go check it out in the theaters. Why not? Plus, give it money. Beat The Mandalorian and Stupid Baby Yoda. Hated that movie. With that said, busy week on the channel. We got this review, then we got Star Wars ranking coming tomorrow, officially, most likely. And then we have Top 10 Horror Movies of the 2020's updated version and the ranking of the May films. With that said, subscribe.